Here, if we focus a little bit here, we'll not avoid this problem either. Here's the prediction showing how there's increasing suitability in certain regions, especially up north, but not really here in the south. In terms of yield per hectare, I do most of my work in Africa. Here, we can see how yield has not increased in Africa since the 1960s. Clearly, not a great indicator of my consulting skills. As a planet, we are fast running out of land to plant more. We need to use technology to make us better farmers and to increase our yield with the land that we have. Brazil and Vietnam are leading the way in yield per hectare, of course, under very different growing and different farming conditions to the rest of the world. What does this leave us with? Our next section is about consolidation, and there's a massive consolidation of world coffee production. We've seen consolidation in big tech, and we've seen consolidation of coffee companies with large acquisitions, especially from JAB Holding, Coca-Cola, and Nestle, and even big tech getting involved in coffee. But where the most interesting and concerning consolidation is taking place is at production level. Today, we drink over 75% of our coffee from just 5 countries. Most of these increases in production and yield have come from just 3 countries, Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia. And all of them have invested heavily in technology at farm level as well as genetic level. The final problem we will look at is how, if we don't focus on becoming better and more conscientious farmers using technology, technology will come for us in the form of synthetic or beanless coffee. This is a strange one, as it's been punted as a solution, but is also a threat to coffee as we know it. Atomo, Minus, STEM, and Northern Wonder are all startups with huge funding and claim to have reverse engineered the coffee bean to create a beanless coffee that delivers the same conventional taste without compromising the planet. They use a variety of products from upcycled date seeds and a blend of other ingredients such as grape, chicory, and tea-derived caffeine. These products are roasted and brewed just like conventional coffee, but the difference, it's controversially claimed to be more sustainable, using 93% less carbon emissions and 94% less water. STEM is an interesting one because they use a cellular material from coffee waste to produce their coffee, using the waste of grinds and the waste of the cherry to extract more value. So let us have a look at the solutions. While we focus a lot on new technologies, the true magic lies in data. Data can drive farmer insights and guide on planting decisions, pest management, and of course harvesting schedules. One of the greatest examples I have of a farmer using data was experienced at a coffee farm in South Africa, which is really on the verge of where we should be growing coffee. At this farm, which is far out of the so-called bean belt, we grow Arabica at 150 meters above sea level. You can actually see the ocean. We have a cool breeze that blows off the ocean and it slows down the growing, and it creates quite an ideal growing climate for this Arabica. For decades, what this farm would do was they'll begin harvesting their cherries at the end of autumn, all the way through winter until the beginning of spring, and sell all their cherries or their coffee as one lot. What they realized through data collection was that there was a huge difference in in-cup quality from the early harvest, where it was much warmer, to the late harvest, where it was much cooler. This gave them a 3-point increase in their in-cup quality and a significant price increase for the farmer. I love this graphic because this really shows the importance of quality to price. It's taken from the Specialty Coffee Transaction Guide and adapted, showing how the curve works with your quality versus the price that you'll get as a farmer. Today, with the assistance of AI, the analysis of data, and finding the right solutions, it is faster and easier than ever before. Machine learning tools are taking our data and converting it into practical, usable solutions. I've tried to include not only international companies as examples, but also local companies from India. I walked around the fair yesterday and there were some fascinating tech and data companies that are right here on your doorstep. Tekasik is a proof of concept being developed by the South India Coffee Company and Tengio as an AI tool. What this tool does is it sifts through all the open source data from the coffee board over many years and helps farmers to make the right decisions in choosing the correct varietals of plants for your region, the fertilizers, when to use them, and of course local diseases and pests. It's a proof of concept that you can try today. Coffee Krishi Taranga, in partnership with the Coffee Board of India, I'm sure the farmers all know this, is a fantastic mobile phone-based extension service offering advice on production, weather, price, and answering farmer questions. GeoFarmer is an app from SIAT that lets farmers ask questions and share agricultural best practices globally. The system offers extension services, and thanks to continuous interaction and exchange with the global coffee farming community. It is also free. Cropster Origin is part of the Cropster suite of software, and it covers the entire process from production to cup, targeting specialty coffee growers. It enables the recording and tracking of coffee bean lots, the monitoring of processing, and the storage environment, comparing the quality of different batches and sharing this data with your customers. Cropin is a local Bengaluru company that has a full suite of products offering smart, data-driven solutions to farmers. In essence, an intelligent agricultural cloud. eCrop Origin allows coffee farmers to schedule and log their work on the farm, track the inventory, the harvests, processing, and connect with buyers. Handtech is a suite of products offering data-driven solutions and predictive intelligence, and they are also here at the event today. SenseGood, locally produced and extremely affordable color meters and moisture meters for farmers. mCultivar is a supply chain management technology system that has recently been launched and is also worth looking at. And finally, Farmatopia or CropSense, also local. It's a farmer network and information platform. However, technology doesn't just mean apps, AI, and electronic gadgets, but it's also part of the critical and excellent work done in genetic advances. Indian coffee farmers are extremely lucky to have the CCRI doing the excellent work they are doing with the world-class researchers that you have on your doorstep. The work is right here, it's local, and it's relevant. Advanced, location-specific varieties, better seed, disease and pest management, tolerance, are all critical to farming and are also part of technology. World Coffee Research, they released a very interesting white paper only last week, where they state they can decrease the carbon footprints of coffee farming by 32% simply by planting new varieties through extra yield. Biotechnologies has a huge role in technology for coffee as well, from somatic embryogenesis, interspecies crossing, and even gene editing. Work has already been done through the CRISPR-Cas9 program to remove the gene that produces caffeine in coffee to produce a naturally caffeine-free coffee. What this means for the pest tolerance of the coffee plant, I have no idea. Apps have been developed that can identify coffee diseases through machine learning algorithms and pictures sent in. The Coffee Board of India is doing some great research into smart tech-assisted harvesting, similar to what we saw earlier. While Profile Prints is an AI-based platform that analyzes the green coffee characteristics such as taste, moisture, and density using molecular markers at molecular level. Another great advancement in the biological control of pests and advances is integrated pest management. I did some work on a project in Uganda where we used a drone that flew over a pretty large coffee farm, and using the sensors of the drone, the multispectral sensors, we discovered 2 quadrants where the Antestia bug was having a major impact on the coffee plants. Once we identified these quadrants on the farm, We purchased a box of single-sex predatory wasps from the biological company. We released these wasps in this quadrant, and they fed on the intestia bug until the intestia bug was no longer around, and then the wasps died. So it was a really big success, and it just shows what's going to be done in the future with biological advances. The use of drones brings us onto our next solution, precision agriculture. Imagine coffee fields equipped with sensors that monitor soil moisture, temperature, and humidity, all in real time. These data points are analyzed to determine the precise irrigation needs of each plant, reducing water wastage. Drones soar above the plantation, capturing high-resolution images that reveal insights that are not available to the naked human eye. These images are guiding farmers into identifying areas that require attention, pest infestations, and nutrition deficiencies. Precision agriculture is not just a buzzword, it's a revolution that is transforming how coffee is grown. It's the synergy of sensors, data analytics, and robots. This image shows a water stress map of a field taken from a drone. But not all technology has to be expensive and sometimes unattainable. It can be as simple as adding UV light tracers to your spray bottles to see if you're spraying even coverage and reaching all the areas of your plants. Or it can be as advanced as the next generation weed-killing robots. These are eliminating the need for chemicals, although as we can see from the picture, it's clearly not yet adapted to Indian farming conditions. This links us to IoT, or the Internet of Things, a network of physical objects that are made smart by embedding them with sensors and software. In coffee, we are seeing it already with our in-field sensors, letting us know when to irrigate, fertilize, or spray. Weather forecasting has also become hyper-local, letting us know in advance when to harvest or when to spray. Blockchain is an interesting one. We have seen how it can help authenticate the story and the journey of our bean. It's given us unprecedented transparency and traceability, and especially with, as mentioned earlier, the EUDR, quite important. In theory, it should empower producers and improve market access. However, we have seen many startups based on blockchain that have already come and gone. Blockchain will help to eradicate the possibility of fraud, but it is not an all-in-one solution. Farmer Connect is an IBM-based blockchain offering end-to-end traceability, focusing on ESG. Its Thank My Farmer app allows coffee drinkers to track their coffee back to origin and tip their farmer. Demetria empowers farmers with simple diagnostic tools connected to their smartphones, which analyze the taste profile of their coffee beans and manage their farm process. While Dimitri is a smart farming and supply chain management solution that tracks the movement of coffee from cultivation all the way through to distribution. Nanotechnology has huge potential for coffee growers in the near future, and not only in the form of miniature robots, which is what we think of when we think of nanotechnology. What I find really interesting here and practical to the farmers is the matter manipulation happening at near atomic level. For example, a herbicide encapsulated in nanoparticles allows a drastic reduction in concentration. In Brazil, this has been tested on coffee plantations already with the herbicide atrazine. Atrazine is usually put on the plantations at 2 kilograms per hectare dose, and they have reduced it to 200 grams per hectare, which is incredible. Finally, a few other solutions which may be relevant to the farmers here today. Ear for You from the German the German Coffee Association is an anonymous grievance mechanism tool to report any concerns you have regarding human rights, labor, environmental risks, or pollution, child labor as well. They even have an India-specific hotline. Satellite technology is being used very successfully to monitor deforestation, quickly assessing land change in the coffee sector. The highly debated EUDR specifically targets deforestation in the coffee, cocoa, beef, rubber, soy, and palm oil sectors. Companies have to definitively demonstrate that the production of their goods has no connection with deforestation, or they face fines of up to 4% of turnover. So that is why it is such a big talking topic today. Rainforest Alliance is also using satellite imagery to certify any deforestation, and if there was any deforestation post 2014, it is a rejection, an automatic rejection from the program. In conclusion, we have seen that there are many promising ag tech advances available for the coffee farmer. The truth is, we don't have more land to plant more coffee without cutting down the forests. We're sitting with a rising demand for coffee, less suitable land to grow it, and a decreasing yield outside of the big three. Adopting the right technologies is going to be the beacon that is going to help us get out of this mess. However, and this is important, don't believe all the hype about technology and gadgets that you can buy for your farm. Request actual evidence of prior adoption and success before you spend the money. Technology isn't life, and technology alone certainly isn't farming. Spend time in your fields, spend time with your plants without any electronic devices, never forgetting the basics of pruning, mulching, and scouting. 3 things in life are certain: death, taxes, and of course coffee consumption. Let's continue to produce great coffee, adopting practical technologies that make us better farmers. I wanted to close by reading a very short story about envisioning a day on the coffee farm in 2030. It's borrowed and adapted by Angela Lovell and, of course, ChatGPT. Mahesh starts his day on the coffee farm with a sense of excitement. He pours himself a cup of freshly brewed coffee grown right here on his family coffee plantation and roasted on his smart roaster used for comparing notes with his customers. The morning has a gentle hum as autonomous drones equipped with advanced sensors glide gracefully above his coffee trees. These drones monitor the health of the plant with precision, detecting any signs of disease or stress. As he takes his first sip, Mahesh's watch pings with a notification from the farm's smart sensors. In the lush coffee fields under his pepper vines, the infield sensors and cameras in quadrant 2 notify him that the majority of his cherries are ripe for picking at a Brix value of 22. His weather trackers show clear skies ahead, providing the green light for harvesting. Mahesh still uses manual harvesting, but his pickers are aided by an exoskeleton suit which assists in picking only the ripest coffee cherries with precision and care. He sends a command from his tablet to activate the driverless coffee hauler and cart, which begins trundling towards quadrant 2. His real-time market data app assesses his competitors' conditions and advises expected pricing. At the processing facility, his daughter Prisha oversees the operation as cutting-edge AI algorithms sort the cherries before they are pulped using eco-friendly enzymes and fermented in bioreactors to optimize flavor. Mahesh recently released a box of predatory wasps to control a minor outbreak of stem borer and assesses the live feed from his drone to assess their success rate. But he is interrupted by an alert on his phone notifying him that the autonomous tractor in the field has broken down. The technician in Bengaluru is notified and remotely fixes the error and restarts the tractor system. As he sips another cup of coffee, Mahesh reflects on how he no longer worries as much about unpredictable weather conditions. Since adopting regenerative agricultural practices, his coffee farm has become more resilient. Healthy soil, biodiversity, and a thriving microbial community have made his farm less susceptible to the challenges that once plagued him. Mahesh was initially skeptical about regenerative agriculture, but he now knows it's the way to ensure long-term sustainability. At midday, he has a cupping session scheduled with his buyers, who dial in via hologram, and together they cup and share notes on the coffee roasted on their connected smart roasters. As the day draws to a close, he can't help but reflect on the incredible journey his family farm has come over time. Coffee farming in 2030 has not only embraced advanced technology, but has also redefined what it means to cultivate coffee sustainably. It's a harmonious blend of tradition and innovation, a testament to enjoying the simple pleasures of a cup of coffee. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dennison, kindly stay back for a moment, please. Yeah, kindly come back, please. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Charles Dennison. Before we leave you, It's my pleasure now to request Dr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, the Divisional Head of Tissue Culture and Biotechnology Coffee Board, to kindly come over and felicitate Dr. Manoj Kumar Mishra. Dr. Manoj Kumar Mishra will felicitate Mr. Charles Dennison. Thank you very much. And with this, we come to the end of this session. We'll straight away head to the next session. For the information of those who might have just come in, well, ladies and gentlemen, as you're all aware, the coffee guide was released today. It's available at an early bird offer of rupees 500, and you can just go to the merchandise and collect the same. And now we move on to the next session, the presentation by Dr. Kowa Dang Lee, the General Research Manager, Western Highlands Agroforestry Science Institute, WASI. And his topic is about the high production technologies in coffee, the success story of Vietnam. Kindly come over. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Kowa Dang Lee. And in December 2020 was awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. So he's a highly illustrative personality, has won several awards. And it's over to you straight away. Over to you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, here we go. Hello, Bengaluru. My name is Kwale from Vietnam. So I'm on behalf of my colleague, Dr. Phan Viet Ha. Going to tell you about the story of coffee in Vietnam and how coffee in Vietnam produced by those very skilled and knowledgeable farmers in Vietnam. So, which could be a good story for people to know about that. With the, at the moment, Vietnam, still the second biggest producer in the world. And we are the biggest producer of Robusta. And which is like a coffee and produced with the area of 10,000 hectares, produce almost 1.9 million metric tons per hectare per years. And the average yield that we got so far, which is up to 2.8 metric tons per hectare. And 80%, more than 80% of our coffee production in Vietnam annual year is for exporting, and we domestically consume about 50 to 20% of our coffee. And the number of the coffee farms in Vietnam certified by some global certification for the sustainable development of coffee is more than 35% of all coffee area in the world, in Vietnam. And in Vietnam, coffee grow mostly in Central Highlands of Vietnam, where you can see the green, the very dark green, further south of Vietnam, which includes 5 different provinces: Lâm Đồng, Đắk Lắk, Đắk Nông, Kon Tum. And we produce both Arabica and Robusta. Arabica, we got just about 40,000 hectares, mostly grow in north of Vietnam, and some province in Central Highlands of Vietnam, Lâm Đồng and Kon Tum, for example. And with the total 710,000 hectares, we produce annually about 1.9 million metric tons. And for the graph, you can see here how the growing area of coffee in Vietnam, it developed years by year. So start with the year 1975, we just have like 75,000 hectares, but now sorry, I got back this one. Yes, here we go. Yes, on 1975, we just got about 13,000 hectares, but now, what happened with this one? Sorry about that. Here we go. Yep. Yes, today, we got more than 700,000 hectares compared to the what happened? Yes, compared to the past, 1975, we just have like 13,000, but now we got more than 100,000. And for the average yield, it's up and down. You can see in 2000, we just get like 1.7 metric ton, the metric ton per hectare. At that time, the price of coffee very low, and then the coffee farmer in Vietnam, we're still taking care of coffee, but we not have like the huge investment for coffee plantation. That is the reason why in 2000 and 2005, at that period of time, the coffee yield in Vietnam very low, below the 1.7 metric ton per hectare. But now, when the coffee price going up and the farmer puts a lot of effort, a lot of invest, then the yield of coffee in Vietnam, it increased dramatically. It's up to 2.8 metric ton per hectare. Yes, now we have more than 200 hectares to apply the new farming technology. It's very small number. This number almost certified, totally certified. Sorry, it's totally certified by some certification for the sustainable coffee produced in Vietnam. And for coffee sector in Vietnam, it creates for the work for more than 5.5 million work for the farmer in Vietnam. So, and for coffees, we also have like the program for enhancing the coffee processing and storing for Vietnam. We start with a lot of program to produce more and more specialty coffee, and for the 5 Robusta in particular. Here is some technology, some advanced technology that my institute WASI already created and studied deeply to support the farmer in Vietnam to produce more and more Robusta coffee, the high quality coffee, not just the low quality coffee like in the past. So we apply the grafting technique to rejuvenate the aging coffee plants. And we also apply the new system of watering to do both watering and fertilizing together to reduce the input cost and to increase the yield. In terms of coffee breeding and coffee propagation, we do a lot of research on the breeding to create more and more high quality, high resistant variety of coffee to pest and disease, leprous disease in particular. And almost all of Vietnamese coffee variety is resistant to leprous disease. This type of disease of coffee no longer exists in Vietnam. Yes, in terms of coffee breeding that I mentioned, now we have 13 cultivars of Robusta coffee. Start with the TR. T stands for Tây Nguyên, which means Central Highlands of Vietnam, and R stands for Robusta. So tier 4 up to tier 15 is some variety that's created by my institution, Wazi. And we also have local variety called Sang Lun and Cafe Zay. It is two local variety that's created by my local farmer. And it's well recognized for the local area. And we also have one synthesis hybrid variety called TRS1. As I said, TR stands for Robusta created in Central Highland, and S, letter S, is a synthesis. We create this kind of seedling, this kind of variety to produce seedling instead of grafted plant. The synthesis of 4 different Robusta cultivars. We pick up 4 different biggest high yield of TR to grow in the mother garden and let them isolated from other Robusta coffee plantation. Then it can have a cross pollinate together to create TRS1, which is it can get the potential yield of 4.5 and up to 6.5 metric ton per hectare. And TRS1 and all of TR variety of Robusta in Vietnam resistant to the leprous disease. For the Arabica, we got over 6 variety, and the yield of Arabica can get the highest yield up to 4.7 metric ton per hectare for Arabica. And for Arabica, Robusta, all of them is resistant to leprous disease. Unfortunately, at the moment, nematode disease, the soil-borne disease, still big challenge for coffee in Vietnam. However, we didn't have any material resistant to this kind of disease yet. So we're still working on it. And from the period of time, from 2020 and up to 2025, we will have almost 200,000 hectares need to be rejuvenated or need to be replanted because the aging is almost over 35 years old. So it needs to be replanted or rejuvenated. With the new cultivar of Robusta and new cultivar of Arabica, created directly by Wazi, my organization, we would be able to have all of the farmers in Vietnam create their beautiful farm with a high yield, high quality of coffee, of Robusta, of Arabica. And we got a lot of support. I mean, my farmer, my Vietnamese coffee farmer also get a lot of support from government through a lot of program every year. VCOFA, VNSAS, for example. Here I could want to show you some cultivar of Robusta created by my organization, Wazi. The TR4, still the biggest one, the most favorite one for farmer because it's got high yield. 7.3 is the potential yield of this variety or cultivar. But some farmer can get up to 10 metric ton per hectare with this variety. They put more invest one, like fertilizer, more irrigating, then they get really high yield, up to 10 metric ton per hectare. It's happened in Vietnam, in Central Highlands. That is the high already recorded in Vietnam. And the great bean, or the score, SCA score, is always above 27 Tier 9, the other one, also the beautiful variety of Robusta that the coffee farmer in Vietnam truly love. Besides Tier 4 up to Tier 12, we have Tier 14 and Tier 15, which is really late ripening. It can help the farmer to reduce the labor cost. The labor cost is also a challenge for the Vietnamese coffee farmer during the harvesting time. If ripen at the same time need to be collected, then the farmer could not find the good labor sources to harvest their coffee cherry. Then it becomes a problem for many coffee farmers in Central Highland. Then Tier 14 and Tier 15, it's an alternative for them to reduce the labor cost. If they have more than 10 hectares, they can grow 5 hectares with Tier 4, Tier 9, and the rest can with the Tier 14 and 15. And both Tier 14 and Tier 15 still have good yield, more than 4 metric tons per hectare, and also highly resistant to leaf rust disease. And here is the Tier S1 that I mentioned, the newest variety that created by my organization, WASI. As I said before, it is a synthesis of 4 different tiers. In the garden, we call seedling or mother garden, isolated from the rest of coffee plantation around. And this variety also highly resistant to leaf rust disease. Yeah, here is some Arabica variety. Yeah, I think. Right. Here is some Arabica variety that's created by WASI. Yes, sorry, it's not that one. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's Sang Lun and Cafe Zay. Yeah, so sorry. Here is the 2 variety that I said, created by local farmers in Central Highlands of Vietnam. The farmer in Lâm Đồng and Đắk Nông provinces, they create their own variety. It's suitable for the weather condition in Đắk Nông and Lâm Đồng. It still have high yield, but the thing is that some of them is not recognized yet by the government. Because to be approved by government, it needs to go through the process of my institutes to do all the tests for other locations, to be able to spread nationally. Then Cafe Zay and Sang Lun, at the moment, is still just recognized by local farmers, not recognized nationally. And about Arabica coffee, we also have research on breeding to create a new variety of Arabica. Now we have Tier 1, Tier 2, TN1, TN2, TN6, TN7, TN9, and THA1. It is the 6 different varieties of Arabica in Vietnam. TN, now TN is totally Vietnamese capital letters. TN means Tây Nguyên, or in English means Central Highlands. So for Arabica, TN, Arabica coffee created by WASI at Central Highlands of Vietnam. That is the name original of the Arabica name. And the yield of Arabica variety that we created is up to 3.5 metric tons per hectare. and the bean size is quite big. And the score, the cupping score, SCA cupping score is quite high, higher than Catimor, the original of Arabica created in Vietnam in the past. Yeah, here is some image and information of the Arabica variety of Vietnam. We have tier 7, tier 9. Yes. After doing the breeding studies on coffee, both Robusta and Arabica, we do some farming systems, some agricultural practices to improve the yield of Vietnamese coffee as well. Grafting, propagation is the one example of study that we have done, have achieved to have the farmer in Vietnam. Grafting not just create the new plant for farmer to buy, but also we apply grafting in the aging coffee plantation to rejuvenate that aging coffee farm, instead of uprooting and replanting them. For rejuvenating the aging plant, we need to check if the root system is still good or not. If it's good enough for grafting, we can do the grafting for that aging plant. But if the root system is destroyed by disease or something else, we need to replant them. So grafting, for creating the grafted plants and also for rejuvenating the aging plants as well. Here is some picture that we do apply the grafting technique to rejuvenate the aging coffee farm. We cut off the trees 13 centimeters from the ground and then waiting for the new shooting coming up. Then the farmer can apply grafting technique to create the new generation of the aging plants. We also have the in vitro plant or tissueculture plant for the farmer to grow. But the only disadvantage of this technique is that really costs very expensive for farmer to buy and take a long time to have a new plant. It requires almost 2 years to have an in vitro plant to be able to plant in the field. So with that disadvantage, the in vitro plant or tissue plants not exist in Vietnam, but it still need to do something with this one to support the research in laboratory and the greenhouse trials. That's here how we produce the seedlings, the grafted plant to support farmer in Vietnam. In terms of coffee farming techniques, we do have some very good achievement on this area. We do the drip irrigation. We do the sprinkle irrigation in Vietnam. Also, we do a lot of tests on fertilizer. What type of fertilizer is good for coffee in Vietnam? We do a lot. That kind of research to have the farmer in Vietnam. In terms of management pests and disease of coffee, we convinced and recommended, we have done that, to suggest the farmer reduce using pesticide. Instead of using pesticide, using more bioproducts, using more the natural enemy of the pest and disease. Trichoderma, for example, to control the root, the soil-borne disease, to control some some degree on in the above ground of the plant. So currently, we have more than 100,000 hectares already apply ICM, integrated crop management. The benefits from applying ICM, we can create more than 25% of income for farmer. And for helping farmer, my organization, WASI, also do the soil analysis to testing the quality of soil that the farmers in Vietnam would love to check, would love to know how good soil that they have. Based on the results of soil analysis and based on the potential yield of the farm that farmer collected the soil, we can recommend the dose of fertilizer for farmer to use, and also recommended type of fertilizer, recommended the volume of water they need to water during the dry season as well. So that is something that we have been achieved to have farmer in Vietnam. Yet for fertilizing coffee, we do both. The fertilizing into the soil and also use the foliar spraying. And for the fertilizer using as a spraying, WASI, my organization also creates the specific fertilizer just for coffee application only. We call Nu Cafe. Nu, which means nutrition for coffee only, not for another crops. So the farmer can get that kind of fertilizer to spray in their farms. Yeah, that's some kind of technique that farmer already apply through the result that we have done by WASI. We also do the mechanism to apply some technique that we learned from Brazil. We grow the coffee is a normal way that we did and that we have done. But now this one is very new for coffee farmers in Vietnam. So I just saw some picture of this kind of cultivating system in Vietnam now. Yeah, so this kind of system is just currently happen in Vietnam. We get some research on that one, and the area for this kind of new system is just around 200 hectares. Yeah. And also we expected in the year 2033 we can get up to more than 100,000 hectares. Hope so. But it really depends on how good it is and the farmer would love to try it or not. Yes, for the best agricultural practices, we also apply a lot of that kind of practices to have the farmer in Vietnam produce more and more coffee. Yeah, with this one, we can apply some gist to protect the cherry that's collected but get trouble with the weather, rainy for example. Then with this, we can protect the cherry from the rotten of the fungi. You can see here, 3 photos on the top, it apply the gist. And the 3 photos at the bottom, not apply the gist. Then it gets trouble if the rainy coming and the cherry is not dry yet. Then if the farmer applies this, it can protect the cherry from rotten. So that's kind of the best agricultural practices that we have farmer to protect their cherries. there is some system, cropping system in Vietnam with avocado, with durian, macadamia, avocado, durian a lot. This kind of system have been seen a lot in Vietnam currently. And for post-harvesting technique, we do a lot of research and already have results to help farmer to be able to produce more high-quality coffee to the rest of the world, not just for our consumption, but also for global consumption. Yeah, for drying, we can dry on the cement jar, or we can dry in the plastic glass house. And yeah, I think that's all I want to tell you about the story of Vietnam in producing coffee for not just for us, for Vietnam consumers, but also for global consumer. And we try to produce more and more good quality coffee bean for the global. Thank you very much for listening. Cảm ơn.
Mr. Kowa, then kindly come back to the system. Thank you very much. If any questions are there, he will be available offline after the felicitation and you can have interaction with him. I would request Mr. Partha Prateek Chaudhary, Deputy Director of Coffee Board, Kerala, to kindly felicitate Dr. Kowa Dangli. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause. We have two more sessions here after this. Thank you very much, and without much ado, we straight away go to the next session, the topic about the learnings from farmers' organizations adapting to new regulations. And the speaker for this particular session is Mr. Muhammad Amirul Islam, Asian Farmers Association for Sustainable Rural Development. So please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Amirul Islam, who holds an MSc in Agricultural Science, Bangladesh, and he possesses around 20 years of experience in the field of agriculture and food security, with a focus on sustainable production practices and so on. And he has known for agricultural cooperative movement, wealth creating, value chain development, strengthening farmers' organization, advocacy intervention at policy level by engaging advocacy work. So for the next 20 minutes or so, Mr. Muhammad Amirul Islam.
Thank you.
Sababka, it's all yours.
Yeah. Excellencies, colleagues, friends, it is the pleasure to be with you here. Today is the Grower Conclave and also the closing day of World Coffee Conference 2023. I am honored and inspired by the, despite of the collaborations among the experts in science, policies, business, and also now the government, CSOs, media representatives, and in this conference. On behalf of farmers, on behalf of Asian Farmers Association, I am grateful for the opportunity to speak with you. Thanks, International Coffee Organization and also the Coffee Board of India. So before joining here, this conference, we, Asian Farmers Association, we had the regional coffee consultation on August 22 and 2023. Within this Asian Farmers Association, we have 7 coffee grower countries in Asia, like Cambodia, India, Indonesia, Laos, Nepal, Philippines, and Vietnam. Before going to my presentation, I would like to say something about Asian Farmers Association. Asian Farmers Association is a regional farmers forum. We working with 22 national family farming organizations in 16 countries in Asia and the Pacific. And with the 13 millions of small-scale farmers, including women and youth. AFA is committed to the fostering solidarity, amplifying collective voice, and empowering our member as a vital contribution to the sustainable rural development. The key role of the smallholder coffee farmers. The global coffee industry, valued at over $400 billion is predominantly driven by 25 million smallholder producers who collectively accounts for 80% of the total coffee production. Moreover, we play a critical role in averting deforestation. Studies have shown that the smallholder farmer coffee producers are exposing environmental friendly technologies. Example, the shade trees, coffee trees in agroforestry in intercropping system that do not endanger the forest. Now, I would like to say something of our concern. Yet the grim reality is that the 5 million or 20% of these smallholder coffee farmers subsist on less than the international poverty line benchmark of $3.2 per day. We are already grappling with the multifaceted challenges of extreme weather disruption, impacting our yield, accelerating input cost due to the local and global economics event, and the enduring struggle to earn a dignified livelihood. So, our concern at the farm level, compliance with the EUDR, European Union Deforestation Regulation, can increase our cost, especially since our incomes are already declining primarily due to the reduced productivity in coffee cultivation, in addition to raising production and transportation costs, inadequate infrastructure, and lack of technical and marketing capacities of individual farmers and cooperatives. Moreover, the European Union Deforestation Regulation can consist our market opportunities since our countries have inadequate policies and measures aligned with the EUDR, risking further our marginalization. So, considering all of the issues, for the smallholder farmer, our recommendation to the government, assist small-scale coffee farmer in adhering to the EUDR. We ask government of coffee-producing countries to extend comprehensive support to small-scale coffee farmers by crafting policies and enable coffee employers in the EU market. This will include ensuring rights to land and forest resources of small-scale coffee producer, building the latest capacities of producing and processing coffee sustainability, as well as is their stronger involvement in the coffee value chain, bolstering market infrastructure, establishing robust market connections, introducing target subsidies, and involving them in policy formulation. Establishing a mechanism to remunerate small-scale coffee farmers for their forest conservation efforts while providing sanction to those responsible for deforestation. Facilities access to deforestation data necessary for product traceability, therefore ensuring transparency. Our recommendation to the big coffee companies, traders, and processors serve as the key partner in assisting small-scale coffee farmers to counterbalance the potential negative impacts of the EUDR by providing the necessary support to coffee producers, by complying to EUDR, and by promoting entry to the EU market. And the private financial institutes are encouraged to provide market-oriented financial access to the small producer, empowering them to enhance productivity and product quality. Our recommendation to the global and local coffee industry associations: safeguard the economic well-being of a small-scale coffee farmer from the advertised and risks posed by the EUDR to our sector. Actively involve small farmers' organizations in shaping EUDR related policies, regulations, and guidelines. Our recommendation to development financing from public and private sector also. Provide direct financing to the farmer organization and cooperatives to strengthen our capacities for aggregation, for sustainable production, processing, value addition, and marketing or distribution of coffees. For establishing viable enterprise as coffee operators and traders. For engaging policymakers for favorable policies, and for claiming programs and benefits due to small-scale coffee farmers as rights holders in our countries. And our commitments as a farmer organization to development financing from public and private sectors, we affirm our unwavering commitments to supporting our members and partner small coffee farmers through our organization. We pledge to conduct educational campaigns to deepen farmer understanding of the EUDR. Because of this EUDR is very new for the farmer, and farmers are really worried about this kind of the regulation for what kind of impact of their coffee marketing. Its potential drawbacks and opportunities for promoting climate adaptation. We commit to strengthening our capacity to aggregate the products of our farmers as well as provide processing facilities, qualifying as a capable coffee operators and traders, thus ensuring small farmers' welfare is duly addressed. Furthermore, we express our determination to engage in both local and international industry association as well as other relevant bodies concerned to the coffee sector, representing the voice of the small farmer. Thank you. Long live family farmers. See, we have to remember, no farmer, no food, no future. Thank you.
Kindly take your seat, Mr. Amirul Islam. Yeah. Indeed, it was a great presentation about the learnings from farmers' organizations adapting to new regulations. I would request Dr. Jyoti MS, Senior Liaison Officer of Coffee Board, to kindly felicitate him. Ladies and gentlemen, one session of seminar hall has been shifted here, which is going to start in a few minutes from now. So let's give a round of applause and thank Mr. Muhammad Amirul Islam. Thank you very much, and we'll start this session in a few minutes from now. Thank you very much.